There's an old adage in putting that says never up, never in, and I'm sure you've all played with somebody who said that to you during a round of golf. Now, it goes without saying there is an element of truth, because if the ball doesn't reach the hole, well, it can't possibly go in. However, you can be too reckless with putts. You know, saying never up, never in and blasting a 10-foot putt 6 foot past the hole is probably not the best strategy to help you return the fewest number of putts during a round of golf. And particularly when you get further away from the hole, as you get further away, the biggest contributor to lowering your score is actually just hitting the ball closer to the hole and minimising 3 putts than it is trying to hold putts, particularly from 30 feet plus. So the tip today is going to focus more on those shorter putts, where it's going to feel more like you want to hold them because they're a lot closer to the hole. So really working up to about 10 or 12 feet perhaps. And the scenario I've created here is I've got my hole on the floor, I've removed my flag stick that I've placed down 2 feet beyond the hole. We're going to use 3 balls and a couple of tee pegs. So the idea here is we're going to pace off putts of a certain length. So we're going to pop some tees in the green at 4, 6, 8 and 10 feet. And the idea will be to try and work our way back up that ladder. We're going to putt 3 balls from each spot with the intent to be to either hold the putt, or if it runs past the hole, to stop short of this flag stick. So moving into there, I'm just going to pace off there. So 1, 2, 3, 4 foot lengths there and stick a tee in. We'll go back another 2, stick a tee in, another 2, tee in, another. Now our putts at 4, 6, 8 and 10 feet. And I've got my 3 golf balls. So the aim here now will be, my intent for the putt's to try to hold it, but try to hit it at a speed that should it miss the hole, it's going to stop in this zone. So I know I'm running no more than 1.5 to 2 feet beyond the hole. So as I come into my setup here, we're going to get myself set, one little look at the hole, roll the putt down there. So hold it, and again, I'm still assessing that putt for speed. It didn't feel reckless. I don't think it was going to go miles beyond that hole, and certainly not crashing into that stick. So I'd be happy with that. Into the second putt, same again, one look at the hole, roll it down there, and again, ball speed there looked fairly similar to that first one. Third putt, putter in, one look at my hole, move it down there. Right, perfect. So I've held 3 putts there. To me, they felt like they were very similar for speed, and certainly didn't look like, had they missed the hole, or had I put a ghost hole down, doesn't look like they'll go crashing into that flag behind the hole. So we'll grab the 3 balls out the hole, and we'll move back in now to the 6 foot putt. So the beauty here is that we've got 3 putts, and the aim would be, if I can't complete those 3 putts there, if I can't get the 3 putts either in the hole or beyond the hole with some control, then we need to stay at that level until we can move back. So again, I'm now at the 6 foot rung here, and the aim again will be putter in, look at the hole. So my intent for speed again is just to the hole. So I'm going to make sure I get it there. And again, clearly not at a pace there where it would have run miles beyond the hole had it not gone in. So second putt, putter head in. Okay, pulled it a smidge, grabbed enough of the left edge, which again is a decent indicator that the pace wasn't too high. Third putt in there. One look at the hole. Run it down there, definitely pulled that one. But again, that's a great example there. It's like, I don't mind that it's missed because my intent here really is around speed. I've run it a foot past the hole, which is what my intent was. More than happy with that. So I would classify that still as success for this drill, because I've hit 3 putts that were at an appropriate pace. So it's not about having to hold 3 putts from each point. It's about kind of manage the speed in this aspect. We'll move back into the 8 foot putt now. Obviously, the further away we get, the more challenging this becomes, because the target area we're putting into is not getting any bigger. The putt's getting further away. So relatively, that's becoming a tighter target now, which again sharpens in my feel for what we're trying to do. So eyes down to the hole, one look back to the ball, run it down there. Pace looks pretty good. Start run was nice. That's a decent putt. Pace again definitely wasn't going to run wildly past the hole. Eyes on the ball. Run it down there. Yep, again, you can see there it's gone in the left edge, but it wasn't reckless. There's no way it was ever going to run out of that zone at the end there. Okay, good. Eyes back on the hole. And again, pace there is nice running down there. So I've held the 8 foot ones there. The pace was perfect. We can move back to 10 feet. And really, the aim with this game, I would suggest, is to keep moving back until you can no longer go any further. So once I reach a point where I can't consistently control the speed of the putt, and again, I can't stress it enough, it's not about holding the putt here. So sometimes using a ghost hole can be more helpful. The aim of this game is to actually putt the ball at a pace where it gets to the hole as a bare minimum, but not beyond that stick at the end. So it's got a control element to it. All right. Once I reach that point where I can no longer do that, so the things I would see when I'm starting to fail at that test would be I'm either leaving putts short or putting them into the stick. Well, that would give me a decent indication of the range where I want to stop trying to get putts to the hole. So at the moment, my intent's all focused on getting the ball beyond the hole. Once I can't control that, maybe that's the time I should be trying to hit the ball hole high, and that should hopefully bring my dispersion closer to the cup. So I'll leave some short, I'll hit some past, but my overall shot pattern will end up closer to the centre of the hole, which again minimises 3 putts. So we're back at 10 feet here. We'll keep going until we can't do this anymore. So one look down at the hole. Good, again, pretty happy with that. Maybe a little bit speedier than the last ones, but I don't think it would have been crashing into the stick at the back there. Yeah, again, pace there. Okay, pulled it a smidge. And again, we can see it's missed the hole, but again, it's right in that window of where I'd like it to be. So I would still look at that there as 3 successful putts. So we're up at 10 feet now. I've just grabbed another tee peg there. We're going to move that back out to 12. And again, all I'm using this for now is to set my intention so that when I can no longer complete this objective, that's the point when on the golf course, I'm going to stop trying to get my putts to the hole. I'm just going to try and hit them hole high. Okay, so in at 12 feet here now. Fairly straight putt here. Eyes on the hole, so again, we're focusing on that target. Okay, just about got it there. Thought I'd left that short for a second. Already just standing here, I can feel that this is a much harder challenge. I feel like I've got to be much more precise. So we're obviously starting to reach that point now. Yeah, again, pace there was lovely. We're obviously starting to reach that point now where I can feel the challenge becoming a lot harder. Again, one look at the hole, back to the ball. Run it down this. It's going to miss on the left, I expect, but you can see again, it has got past the hole. So in terms of my intent, I want to get these past the hole and see if I can control it. 3 ticks. So again, we'll move another tee back now. So we'll grab this first tee peg here, pop it in another 2 foot up the line there. So about there. So again, we're out at 14 feet. And again, that box is starting to look quite small now. The further away I get here, the smaller that box becomes. And that's why this becomes a much harder challenge. We've got to be much more precise from 14 feet to roll it into a 2 foot window than we do from 4. So it's a tough challenge this, but like I said, a great way of really forcing you to think about pace control, trying to get the ball to the hole so it has a chance, but without being reckless. Okay, that was lovely. That's probably the best putt I hit, I think. So it's gone in at a lovely speed, just in the left centre. Felt a little bit firmer for pace, but might grab the left half again. Yep, good. Okay. Yeah, again, 3 good putts there. So pace is really consistent across those putts. And like I said, we're just going to keep moving back. Whilst I can feel the challenge is a lot harder, you know, visually I'm looking at it, I can see 16 feet, I think we're at. Visually, I can see that's becoming quite a small window now, but I'm still managing to control my ball speed. So I could take that to the golf course and be fairly confident that if I could visualise this kind of scenario when I get out to play, something a couple of feet beyond the hole and trying to roll the ball into that box, I'm not reckless with my pace. I'm giving myself a chance to hold these putts. So again, in here at 16 feet, eyes down to the hole, run it down there. Yeah, really good. That felt lovely off the face, that one. Okay, yeah, again, might be short, is it? No, okay, just got past the hole. Felt like I misstruck that a little bit. Wondered if it might pull up short, but still good enough for my intent, which is to get it past the hole there. Just pulled it a hair. But again, we'd look at it, 3 ticks. 1's gone in the hole, 2 are past it with an element of control. And like I said, this game really just ends when you can't, you can't control the outcome. So I'm just going to keep going here. Back up at 18 feet now. I think the beauty of this kind of practice as well can be that you can start to create some personal bests. You can start to look at how your performance improves over time, and ultimately my goal now, if I'm at 18 feet here, I want to get back to at least 18 feet every time I do this exercise. So again, decent putt, it's comfortably past the hole, but without being reckless. Yeah, just run out a smidge, but again, I've got control of my speed there. And again, just past the hole, but again, 3 putts with control. So again, we keep going. Now, worth saying, I guess, I've started by doing this on a fairly flat putt. So we've not tried to do this on a putt that's particularly slopey. Just as a starting point, it's maybe marginally downhill, this putt, but it's not crazy. And you could ultimately start to move this test into up and downhill putts and almost have a strategy for dealing with either of them individually. So you might find that when the putt gets downhill, you are a bit more reckless or not quite in as control of your putting, and therefore you might be a bit more conservative on downhill putts. That would be absolutely fine. But I think having a system to go through, we can test out where you want that to become your benchmark for when you're trying to hold a putt and not. Okay, so we've got our first failure. It's the first time I've not been able to control the ball speed. So I would look at that straight away now and say, right, up to 18 feet there, I've been pretty good at rolling the ball at the correct speed to make sure it gets to the hole, but without being reckless. Now, it doesn't matter what that number is for you. I think it's just worthwhile being aware that, if you're good at 4 feet, good at 6 feet, good at 8 feet, and struggle once you get to 10 feet, that's probably the point when you're on the golf course. But if the aim of the game is to take the fewest number of putts hole, if you don't have great control from beyond 10 feet, probably isn't the best strategy. It's like if you've got a bit of a slice and all the trouble's down the right on a narrow fairway, maybe hitting driver is not the right play. Having a strategy to just get you through a scenario is absolutely part of playing the game to optimize your outcome. So I think that's a really easy test. I'll just run through the idea of it again. So 2 feet or 2.5 feet beyond the hole, pop down a stick or a flag. Starting at 4 feet, pop a tee peg in, and you hit 3 putts from there with the intent being either in or past the hole, but with an awareness of the speed the ball's travelling at. Once you complete 3 putts that fall into this box beyond the hole, you move back 2 feet. Repeat. Keep moving back 2 feet until you can no longer control the speed of the ball as I've just shown there. Once you've got to that point, like I said, that's when you then use it as your reference when you're on the golf course for when do I try to hole putts, still with an element of control, versus when I'm just trying to lag them up nice and close. And as I said, I think there can be great benefit in practicing this drill uphill, downhill, on cross slopes, giving yourself that opportunity to understand your putting better and to give you a strategy when you go to the golf course so you're not just recklessly bashing putts at the hole. So, when someone says to you, yes, there's truth, but there's also got to be an element of control to make sure you're giving yourself the best opportunity to minimise the number of putts you take during a round. Give that a go. I'll be interested to hear what your personal bests are on that. I think that's a really great exercise that just gives you some performance practice. You're changing every time. You've got some constraints that help to focus you into the area we want to get the ball to be. And I think, as I said, long term, it can motivate you to practice your putting a bit more frequently and give you a strategy to take out to the golf course and play with.